The top 5 things that your kids don't care about. Number 1, they don't care if you changed. They're not looking for you to change. They're hoping you won't change. And they probably already know that you don't need to change.
Okay, a little background on her. She's not an estranged parent. And she only has one video on her entire platform talking about that I have found so far. And she's done that way after the fact. So she's talked about things in a we and an I, like she's an estranged parent. And I don't know why she needs to feel such an attachment to that community. However, I do know that her father was an alcoholic, and that I think she was around 5 or 6 years old when her mother left that marriage. There was domestic violence involved. And she is estranged from her father, or at least was. I don't know if he's still alive. So she's an estranged adult child and not an estranged parent. And she recalls her earlier life with her mother was very difficult. And she blames it on the stress that her mother was going through in relationship to the father. And things got better, but she was still a problem kind of thing. So that's part of the background there. The other part of the background is, outside of, I was going to say she has a master's degree in stupid. She has a master's degree, according to her, in social work. And about 20 years ago, she was an investigator in foster care, investigating abuse, which scares the crap out of me. And she's worked in the mental health field, as she puts it, for like 20, 30 years or something like that. She never really talks about what that looked like. She also believes that trauma-informed care does not belong in family therapy. Trauma-informed care belongs in all therapy. But she doesn't believe that because I guess she doesn't want somebody's experience to be validated. What she actually wants is us to invalidate our experiences and just learn how to be in relationships and be stronger and more resilient. She talks about these things, so I'm not pulling this out of air. I've covered her before. So we don't care if you've changed. As a therapist who works in these family dynamics, I can tell you I see this over and over again. I can count myself in on this. In the first 3 years of estrangement, most adult children do have another touch, if not several, with the parent they estranged from. Why? Because they want to see if they can work out the relationship and if the parent has grown. Because they're going to therapy and they want to bring with them the tools that they have developed to help that parent so that they can be in a relationship. Because even if that parent hasn't changed, they've developed the skin to be able to handle what the parent throws their way. In all worlds, we care if the parent has actually changed, if they can come to the table and provide us with safety within our relationship with them. Period. In all worlds. There is a point where it's too late for that. And that's not on us. That's not on and I'm not speaking on behalf of everyone. That's not on the estranged adult child. We didn't form the relationship. We didn't fracture the relationship. We didn't break the relationship. We didn't have the ability to do that because we were the children in the relationship. And we fought harder for that relationship than that parent did because that parent never fought for what they felt entitled of having. That's the bottom line. Babies are born feeling unconditional love and in love with their mothers in particular. And what happens next is based on the treatment that those babies receive from that parent. And fathers too, but our bond with our mother is obviously different because, well, we are in utero and they have to feed us and they have to care for us whether they like it or not. And they don't always, even in those situations. But we don't know that obviously because, we're developing and we don't have thoughts. We just have feelings. Okay, let's see what else she has to say. So that's number 1. Don't care if you've changed. I don't know what, I'm waiting for her to drop something where she starts making money off of the estranged parents. And she's had her account banned several times. I don't know why. I don't know which videos, but it's happened. This is like her third account, I think. Let's see what number 2 is. I haven't watched this video. I just saw it come up. I knew the don't care part. So we're doing this fresh together.
Number 2, they don't care about your intentions. No, they don't care because your parenting is only based off of the way they're feeling at the moment. And it's never going to be good.
Intentions don't mean anything. Actions do. So no, I'll speak on behalf of myself. I could care less about my mother's intentions. I care about what she did. I can't read minds, so therefore I can't know her intentions. I can only know how I felt in the things that she did in the moments that she did them. And that isn't about how I wanted to feel, because if it were, she would have been treating me well. That is about what she actually did. And this reeks of, I didn't mean to hurt you. I did the best I could. You don't know what I was going through at the time. That's what this reeks of for me. As somebody who my daughter estranged from over 20 years ago, it lasted less than 3 years. It was on and off throughout the process. And we've been in a relationship for over 20 years. And when she came to me and told me the things that I had done that hurt her, I never, not once during that entire conversation, and I never would, and I would do it the same way again, and we're 20 years solid now, did I say, well, I didn't know any better, or I did this because of that. She knows I was 17 when I had her. That's not her problem. That was my decision. Whatever my intentions were don't mean squat in the face of how she felt about something that I did. Because intentions aren't what had the lasting impact. The actions are. And that isn't about how she wants to feel about something. It's about how I made her feel, because I fell short many, many times as a parent, just like we all do. It's what we do with that that makes or breaks the relationship in the end, and how we handle that in the moments or at the time when they give us an opportunity and trust us with their feelings. And these types of parents, they don't look at it as that. My daughter coming to me and trusting me and telling me, I want to have a relationship with you, that's why I need to share this with you, is everything. It's an opportunity for healing. Unfortunately, emotionally immature parents, all they hear is criticism and judgment, and, they bring all their problems in with the mix instead of taking a step back while that estrangement is in place to figure out how they can do better when that chance comes around. Let's see what number 3 is. Oh, I can't wait. Yes, I just rolled my eyes. She makes me snarky sparky.
Number 3, they don't care about your side of the story. And anytime you try to tell your side of the story, you will become the villain, you'll be a narcissist, and you will absolutely target it as a manipulator. So keep your side of the story together, silently, to the people around you. Do not try to defend yourself.
It's going to be a little repetitive. That's a little repetitive. It's not about my side of the story as a parent. It's not about me. What side of the story? Oh, I did this because of that? No. It's not that they don't care about your side of the story. It's about when somebody is looking for recognition, validation, healing, and to know that you understand how you hurt them, and you defend yourself with your side of the story, you've made it about you instead of about the person who is looking to you, your child, adult child, for healing and compassion and care and the guarantee that you won't do that again. When my daughter came to me, and I reference her because it is my experience, and I also reference her because I see this in my therapy practice. When she came to me, looking for, I guess she was, I don't know what she was looking for. I'm going to have to ask her. I would imagine that she was looking for validation and to be seen. I'm not in her head. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to speak on her behalf in this way. My feeling was she was coming to me looking for healing, for validation, for accountability. And I put myself in her shoes, which wasn't very difficult because I know what I needed from my own mother and what I was never going to get. And that's part of why I was able to show up the way that I did. And there was not one point in time where I referenced back to my side of the story, because whatever else was going on in my life in the moments that I hurt my daughter, and I wasn't abusive, I passed down trauma, I was emotionally immature, I was somewhat unstable in terms of providing like the same place to live and like certain stabilities financially, certain life lessons I definitely should have taught all my children. We talk about this stuff now. I did manage to keep them in the same school pretty much. One of my daughters completely, and my other two children went to two different schools. So that much I was able to do. I don't even know how I managed it. But anyway, when she came to me, it's not about my side of the story. Your adult child is coming to you to be heard, not to hear you. And in no world, no matter what else was going on in my life at the moment, as the parent, as my child's parent, it was my job to do better. And I didn't. And I'm okay with admitting that. Am I proud of it? No. Do I feel bad about it? Absolutely. Would I excuse it behind things I was going through? No. Again, because it was my job to do better. I was 17 years old when I had her. I was a shell-shocked trauma survivor. I lived on the streets at 13. I'd been through multiple essays. None of that is her problem. I don't want her to feel bad for me for any of that. And my kids do feel bad. My kids also feel very proud of me that I pulled myself up and I did as well as I did with them. That's where we are now. That wasn't because I brought my side of the story into the room, though. That was just part of us growing in our relationships. My side has no space in those moments where my adult child needs my support and to be heard. Oh, she's something else.
Number 4, they don't care about your tears. Stop crying. I know it's easier said than does, and it's very painful, but those tears are a sign of manipulation. That is how they're going to take it. They couldn't possibly see the truth. That is, you spent 20 years with them. You love them completely and wholly, and you're willing to go on every roller coaster with them. And so maybe those are the tears you genuinely have. No, they won't see it like that. You're a narcissist, and you're using your tears to try to manipulate them.
You're willing to go on any roller coaster with them as long as it doesn't have accountability on it. Yeah, well, maybe the reason why they don't care about your tears is because through our growing up life, we were made to be so responsible for your emotions that we've hit a wall. As children growing up under narcissistic parents, emotionally immature parents, toxic parents, all of them, I can lump them all together. We were in environments where we knew we had to see how you were feeling to figure out how quiet, small, and emotionless we needed to be so that we didn't set you off in any particular direction, because we knew that we were the source of all your negative emotions. And now in adulthood that we know we're not, we recognize that you were leveraging those emotions to make us care for you instead of you caring for us. Yeah, we know it's a manipulation. And even on the off chance that it's not, let's just talk in general terms. It absolutely hurt my heart when I had that conversation with my daughter. And I definitely made sure that I wasn't showing emotion around that in a way that would take away from her. And that included controlling my emotions. Because in those moments, it's our job to hold space for our children. And again, it comes back to the same theme of this whole 5 things. You're not supposed to make it about you when somebody else is telling you how you hurt them. And that is in general. When somebody's coming to you to share their pain over something that you did that impacted them, and you say, forgive me, you're making it about you. And you aren't, showing up for them, apologizing, if you're genuinely sorry. And most importantly, asking what you can do to heal that and what you can do to make it better, and recognize for them that you know what you did wrong, to build that safety that you won't do it again. If you're not doing it that way, well, then you're doing it the way that she's saying within these 5 things, and it doesn't work. And there's a reason it doesn't work, because you don't recognize that it's not all about you. And that's why you're estranged. And again, I'm not saying that every single situation is exactly the same. I'm talking about it in the context of patterns of behavior, these types of narcissistic family system dynamics. Not everybody in the system is a narcissist or even diagnosable as one. There are people who have narcissistic traits who wouldn't be diagnosed as a narcissist. Okay, so we're not going there with that. I'm talking in relationship really to how she's going about this and where she stands. She really has something going on in her brain that's misfiring. She really hates seeing how adult children have walked away from these really painful relationships. And she has a tremendous amount of feeling towards the estranged parents. And I just think it's wild. I'm wondering if she has that feeling about her own dad. I mean, he wasn't perfect, right? He did the best he could. She's not referenced him that way in any video that I've seen. All right, let's get to the final one.
Number 5, they don't care about your sacrifices. Don't tell them about them. Don't talk about them. They will just use it against you. They will use it that you are the villain, and now you're trying to pull all this out, and they will rewrite history and say that didn't happen that way. So those are my 5.
They don't care about your sacrifices. Well, because your sacrifices are none of their business. I chose to have children, and when I wanted them to have something, I chose for them to have it. And did it at times mean that I went without things? Yes. Was that a sacrifice? No. That was a choice that I made the day that I brought a child into the world. That's my job. I've said this before, but it's kind of like, would you go to your boss where you landed the job of your dreams? You really wanted this job, because as parents, I would hope that we have them because that's what we really want, right? The job of our dreams, being a mom, job of my dreams, being a mom. So let's say I went and I landed the job of my dreams, which by the way, I have the job of my dreams now. Crazy that. And I would, I have to go into work, let's say 40 hours a week, 9 to 5. And, some days I really want to just go lay at the beach. Oh, I got to sacrifice that because I landed the job of my dreams. Some days I want to get my hair done, my nails done, whatever it is I want to get. And I don't want to do it on the weekends, but you know what? I'll have to, because I have to sacrifice to keep the job of my dreams. And then one day I just walk in and, my boss says something and I didn't like it and whatever it was. And I go, do you know what I sacrificed for this job? I'm leaving this here. What do you think? Tell me. Leave a comment. I said I wasn't going to, I guess I didn't leave it right here. I said I wasn't going to cover her anymore, but she just keeps getting more outlandish and she's on my feed. And, I'm so curious about her in this weird sort of, it's like watching a train wreck. And the reason is because she's not an estranged parent. And she's not charging anybody for services yet. She's not running a group where she's making any money. So I'm really trying to figure out, other than the attention, where her satisfaction comes from. And I guess that's it. I guess she doesn't have an opinion about things that's strong enough to garner, a broad audience, that she's found her target group, her cult family, and maybe that's why she's doing that. I know she has at least one daughter. She's not estranged, and I'm wondering if that's going to hold through for the duration of her motherhood. And I'm not wishing anything on her. I'm just saying that her emotional immaturity and hiding behind the master's degree in social work, stupidity, just makes me think, like, what does her future look like as a parent of an adult or adults? Thoughts? All right. I'll see you soon. I am now leaving it here.